Hello, ladies. It's Renee, host of the Welcome to Your Life podcast. Have you thought of recording your own podcast, but the thought of learning new technology was too frightening? I know exactly how you feel. That's how I felt until I found Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place, and it's free. You can record from your phone or your computer, and the creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They'll even distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere on places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many, many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Trust me, you will not regret it. Love yourself first and everything else falls in line. You really have to love yourself first to get anything done in this world. Lucille Ball. Hello, truth seekers. You are listening to the Welcome to Your Life podcast. I am your host, Renee Reed. Welcome to Your Life is an Atlanta-based lifestyle podcast for women, helping you to live the life you deserve. Yes, you can get organized, live a balanced life, and get rid of your belly fat. If you're looking to energize your relationships, wellness goals, faith, or parenting, you've found your tribe. Welcome home. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Welcome to Your Life can now be heard on 10 platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Google Music, and Spotify. If you're enjoying this content, and I really hope you are enjoying it, please consider becoming a monthly donor. Your gifts help to sustain our community and provide for future episodes. To thank you for listening, I have a free gift for you. It's my PDF guide, How to Lose Weight When Nothing Else is Working. In this guide, I share with you how to eat your favorite foods and still lose weight. Yes, you heard me right. The link will be in the show notes. Did I mention it was free? In today's episode, I am sharing with you 4 ways that you can use to honor your self-care without feeling guilty. Let's get started. Hey guys, how are you today? It's cold here in Atlanta. And even though I am a Midwest girl through and through, I'm still not used to it being cold in Atlanta. It should be at least 50 degrees here, but it's not. If you hear some snoring in the background, let me apologize in advance. It's my dog, Winston. He is an English bulldog. And he has been following me from room to room today. I'm not quite sure why. So I decided to give up and just let him fall asleep near me. But if anybody knows anything about bulldogs, they snore. You gotta love our fur babies, right? So today I'm talking to you guys about guiltless self-care. I know, it sounds crazy, but it can happen. Now, it's something that I struggled with for a long time, and it's something that I am still adjusting to. I took a look in my car today, and for those of you who don't know, I work in the field of mental health. So I spend 90% of my day driving from, a client's home to court to, other appointments. And so my car has everything in it that I need for work. But I was looking at it today right before I was about to record this episode, and I realized that it had nothing in it except a bottle of water that would help with my self-care. So you see that this is something that we have to stay on top of all the time. Now, your planner or your life is probably centered around your planner. My planner has a list of all of my to-dos for each and every day. I also have a notebook that I carry with me just in case I run out of space in my planner to schedule my day. So I have these 2 books in my bag with me every day, reminding me of all the things that I need to do. And then at the end of the day, they remind me of all the things that I didn't get done. And like me, you probably have not carved out any time in your schedule just to take a moment for yourself. You're probably running all over town before work, after work, and even on the weekends. And as we heard in yesterday's episode with Dr. Erica Gamble, the sandwich generation, those women who are taking care of children and parents, is growing. And it will continue to grow as our nation gets older. And so it's so important with all of the obligations that are charging at us day after day after day, that we learn to carve out some time for ourselves. And if you need permission, I am giving you permission right now to carve out some time each day for yourself. And I'm going to tell you how. Now, I am a huge proponent of self-care. And I know that sometimes when we do try to step back from our busy schedules to take care of ourselves, we feel guilty. We feel guilty because we didn't complete that outrageous to-do list that we created for ourselves. Sometimes we feel like we let our kids down, our friends, our job, and sometimes we take a look at our lives and we can't find one area that provides us with any kind of satisfaction. You know, taking care of your emotional, mental, and physical health has to become a priority. Why? Because when you break down and can't go anymore, who's going to take your place? Who's going to take care of you? So you must put yourself closer to the top of your list and not feel guilty for doing it. It's time to let go of those sky-high expectations that we have set for ourselves. And I am talking to you from experience because self-care is something I did not always practice. And as I just said, is something that I still need to tweak. You know, in the midst of raising my 5 kids as a single mom, I was working 2 jobs and I was trying to complete 2 graduate degrees. I was in graduate school. I completed my master's degree in history, and then I went right into my master's of education program, and without a break. So I know, what happened to me. I gained 25 pounds, was not pretty. I became pre-diabetic. My energy plummeted. And I want to say I had a mini breakdown, but it was probably a full-on breakdown. I remember crying all the time, and I had a headache that lasted for 4 years. I kid you not. I went nowhere without a bottle of Advil or Tylenol in my purse. Nowhere. And I was just talking the other day with my daughter Martha, and she said, remember how you used to sit in the van before coming into the house? And I had to think back, but she was absolutely right. Like, I had to sit in my van for like 30 or 40 minutes just to prepare myself for what was on the other side of the door, because I knew that the moment I walked in the door, I had to jump full blast into mama mode. How many of you feel like that? How many of you feel like you just go from one job to your next job? You might be working all day, 9 to 5, 8 to 4, 9 to 6 at a job outside of your home, and then you get home and you just have to jump right into your second job. There's dishes, dinner, homework, packing lunches, getting clothes ready for the next day, and then dropping them off and picking them up from all of their after-school activities. It was exhausting. Does that sound familiar to you? If it does, let me know in the comments. But I felt like it was something I had to do, and I had to do it because, I'd seen my mom and my grandmother do this. This is what they did. They worked all day. They came home, they cooked dinner, and they took care of their family. And I never remember my mom taking some time off for herself. So let's think about this. If you have a young son or daughter, because self-care is important for boys as well as girls, but if you have a daughter, let's think about the example that you are setting for them. If they see you running until you burn out or until you explode and you're yelling at everybody, what's that telling them? I wish I had seen my mom take some time for herself just to sit and relax and, do her nails. It wasn't until I was a grown woman with children that I saw my mom actually get a manicure. And I had to take her to get a manicure. I think I treated her, and then she just kind of got hooked on, going every 2 weeks. But this is what they did. These were my examples, and they were wonderful examples. They did it, and if they felt guilty about not being able to do it, I didn't see that. But I felt guilty if I couldn't do it. And I felt like a weakling when I saw, my mom, a single mom with 3 kids, working and going to school and taking care of us. But when I look back and I saw, how much work they did, I'm thinking, this is probably why they got sick and probably why they left us way too soon. So if you get nothing out of today's show, I want you to remember this. You deserve a break. You deserve to be rested physically, emotionally, and mentally. You deserve to take care of yourself and not feel guilty for doing it. And we live in a time now that tells women, you can be whatever you want. And that's true. You can be whatever your heart desires. But you cannot be and do whatever your heart desires by sacrificing your mental, emotional, and physical health. So the first thing I want you to do is to rip up that to-do list and to create a new list. And I mean be brutal. Cross out anything that is not essential. And yes, I want you to volunteer at your kid's school, but I don't want you to feel like you have to volunteer at every single scheduled event of the school year. And this might be a really great time to make friends with some of the other moms in your kids' activity groups. Maybe you guys can carpool. Maybe one week you take the kids and the next week they'll take the kids. What does that do? That gives you a week off. And then both of you can take advantage of not having to drive around the city and get a much needed break for a couple of hours. The next thing you need to do is you need to really prioritize your rest. We do not get enough sleep. Put yourself on the schedule so that you can get 6, 7, or 8 hours of sleep every night. Getting enough sleep helps our body to heal and to fortify its defenses. So, if your kids are not on a bedtime schedule, put them on one. And when they are tucked in their beds for the evening, or if they're older kids and they want to sit up, they can do so in their room. You can take this time to decompress and relax before going to bed. And another thing that I see a lot of parents not doing, and I don't understand why, is they're not teaching their children how to help around the house. It's okay for little Johnny my son's named John, so for little Johnny to run the vacuum, to do laundry, to learn how to cook, and you can turn these activities into family activities. All this does is teach your kid a new skill, helps them to learn how to take care of themselves when they leave home, because that's our job as parents, to prepare them for life outside of our homes. And you will be getting some much needed help around the house. It's a win-win, trust me. Now, this next tip will help boost your mental and emotional health. I want you to let go of the past. Now, that's something I had to do because, as I told you, the women in my family worked. If you were an African American woman in the 50s and 60s or 70s and on, there was no such thing as being a stay-at-home mom. Everyone worked in the house. And so that was my role model. Those were my role models. Those women went to work and took care of their family and put themselves last. Okay, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to rewrite the script a little bit. But the other thing is when you have a hurtful memory that creeps up into your future or your present, let it go. And I'm not saying that flippantly. I don't want you to think, oh, this happened to me and she's saying I just need to forget about it. No. I want you to write it down and then examine it in the cold light of day. And if you need some help with that process, I don't want you to be afraid to seek help. We suffer in silence. I have so many clients who have spent 3, 6, 10, 15 years carrying around things from their past that is impacting their future, and they are just getting help for it. And I applaud the bravery it takes to step out on faith, hoping that this person that you are inviting into your space can help you. I know how much courage that takes. So I want you to see if this is something that you can handle on your own, or if you need to get help for it or help with it. And you can get a coach, you can get a therapist, a psychologist, a psychiatrist. All of these professional people are there to help you. If you don't want to go the professional route, start with the women in your circle. And I hope that you have created that village that is there not only to help you raise your child, but to help sustain you while you're on this journey. Reach out to them, talk to them, let them know what's going on in your life. Don't hold things in, because things that are held in will rise to the surface. They have to come out somehow. And you don't want them to come out in a destructive way. You want to take control of how they present themselves and how you're able to solve them. So you can either speak with a professional person or you can talk to a friend. But talk to somebody. This is part of your self-care. Being able to, let your hair down and spill your guts to someone who has your back. The other thing, and this might be the hardest thing that you're going to do. Remember I said you're going to put the kids to bed, right? And then you're going to take an hour or so before you go to bed, and you're going to decompress and relax. So during that time when you are, without kids, don't reach for the remote control or your phone. Make this time a time without any gadgets, and just reflect, meditate, or pray. Use this time for journaling. I use my time before bed to read and to pray before going to bed. And doing this will really help your decompression time take on a new meaning. It will really help you to center your thoughts and reduce your stress. And that's what self-care is all about. No, you can't get rid of all your stress, but you can get rid of some of it. You can get rid of it to the point where it is not affecting your physical health. So, I want you to commit to trying at least one of these tips for 7 days. Just a week. For 1 week, let the kids help you clean up the house. For 1 week, put them in bed at the same time each night, and then take that time before you go to bed to write in your journal, to have prayer, to meditate, or to just sit in silence and do nothing. And don't feel guilty for doing nothing. I tried that before I really got into the habit of doing this at night. Everything that needed to be done in the house was calling my name. But I have since learned to tune it out and to just rest. And you need this. You need to rest. So, try one or all of these tips for the next week and let me know what you think. Let me know how it's working for you. Let me know, what changed or what didn't change, or what you discovered about yourself when you had this 60 minutes every day to just sit and reflect on yourself. I am betting, if I were a betting coach, I am betting that you are going to love it and you are not going to want to stop. Love yourself first and everything else falls in line. You really have to love yourself to get anything done in this world. Lucille Ball. Hey, truth seekers. I can't wait to hear how you are going to start loving yourself. Which one of these tips are you going to start implementing today? Remember, you can't be of service to anyone, your kids, your family, your employer, your community, until you learn to take care of yourself, to put yourself first without guilt. Leave a comment below and let me know how you're going to start. Or you can shoot me an email at reneereed@reneereed.net. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at I am Renee Reed. And if you were waiting till the end to hit the subscribe button, well, now's your chance. Don't forget to subscribe. I really, really want you to join the family, and I don't want you to miss another episode. Also, I want to thank all of you who have considered becoming a monthly donor of this podcast. I cannot do what I do without you. And becoming a monthly donor is a great way to keep the flow of ideas moving and changing our world. And that's my goal, to change and impact our world one family at a time. So, don't forget to share this episode with someone you love. And until next time, remember this: you are stronger than you give yourself credit and more blessed than you know. Talk soon.